SMT Nation, we back, folks. We're going to be talking about AT&T and their internet air service. We got some commentary and disclosures from AT&T CEO John Stankey at the earnings report last week, and there's some important details in there that should allow us to kind of understand how this service is going to work, who it's designed for, how AT&T plans to utilize it, and I think what our fair expectations should be moving forward. All right, so I'll be dropping this article here from, I think this is from Light Reading, just as a placeholder for me, but important reference materials for sure with regards to the service. It'll be in the description. Also in the description, the real SMT Buy Me a Coffee link. Want to support your creators directly, show your appreciation for all the great content on the channel. You can buy us a coffee. There are other ways to support us too. They're all down there in the description. And if you're looking for a great deal on your wireless service, our partner Mint Mobile has you. All right, you got options here. The deflation promo pricing still looks to be active. Take advantage of those great values, their legendary customer care, and of course, you'll be supporting the channel. Use our link, mintmobile.com/sneed. Okay, so Internet Air appears to be something more of a very surgical, strategic tool for AT&T. The reason I say that is they're not just going to launch some national, advertising, model. They're not going to, completely go, statewide even on some levels. I think what AT&T wants to do is they want to take a look at some locations within the consumer market, within the consumer segment, and offer the service where they have the capacity over their cellular network. It's available. There's surplus, right? 10 gig fiber circuits. All their spectrum assets are live on air on those sites. And those are places that potentially have DSL shutdowns or decommissioning ongoing. The thing about the DSL, folks, is the DSL infrastructure has become very, very expensive to manage. And what I mean by that is it's not that they're putting in new infrastructure. They're not reinstalling new types of DSL that's more reliable. Just the DSL infrastructure setup that they have, really they're trying to shut it all down and move away from it. Now where it's really the only option, and AT&T has big market share, they'll continue to operate it. It's profitable and makes sense. But in places where the subscriber numbers in DSL are decreasing and they're having more and more problems with keeping the DSL, running, adverse weather conditions and other problems really hurt and harm DSL reliability. They're just looking at it like everything from an efficiency standpoint. So it actually makes more sense for them to explore fixed wireless access, cellular home internet, just like Verizon and T-Mobile does. But they're looking at it like only in certain conditions. They'll approve, they'll call you, notify you by email or send you something in the mail or something by the app where they want to move you away from unreliable, crappy DSL, which can be quite expensive, right? $50, $60, $70, and it's not even that fast. 5 megabits down, 1 megabit up, 3 megabits down, half a megabit up. Like there's some incredibly terrible DSL out there. This would be better, but there's no guarantee it's coming to you as a consumer. It's going to be very selected, very surgical in its deployments. And, AT&T seems to be more keen to this for a business solution. Now, the reason they're more accepting or positive towards business solutions is businesses don't typically use a lot of data and they don't need a lot of bandwidth at any given moment. You're talking about, small little sips of data here and there, right? It happens, very, very quickly for a short duration of time where they pull on the network. It might be point-to-point sales or something, or point of sales. And it's just this little surge of data, a very small amount, where they don't need a lot of bandwidth. The home internet user is consuming hours and hours of 4K content and, 1080p content. The typical home internet user, 500, 700 gigs of data, right? I would assume that the business, use cases might use less than half of that. 100 gigs of data or something like that. So that's kind of explains why they say strategic, surgical. They know the tax it would put on their network. And let's be honest here, AT&T spectrum position, it's when it comes to 5G, it's not as robust as T-Mobile is across most of the country, or Verizon for that matter when it comes to C-band. So places where they have capacity, consumer segments where it makes sense for them, where they don't want to lose, the DSL customers that, they could still make a little bit of money on. They have noted that the self-installation rates are problematic. That's going to be something they're working through. It looks like whatever gateway, the egg they're sending, the setup process seems to be a little bit problematic. Hopefully they can fix that and work through that. He said as much, but we'll see how that plays out. That I think Verizon and T-Mobile have a pretty good situation going with their gateways. Verizon's got, a couple of good ones that have worked out for them in the past. T-Mobile's been trying different ones, and some have been better than others. So they're kind of trying to find their groove there. And, I think it's important that we understand, the home internet user would really do a number, to the AT&T network. And that's why I think it's unrealistic to ever expect them to have, more than a couple million customers. Even when it's all said and done, I'm talking like 5-10 years from now. I just don't see it scaling like that. What would a good quarter be, for AT&T Internet Air in terms of net adds? I'd say like 40,000. You know how like Verizon's Fios net adds are? Like that, which is crazy. But we know that AT&T's focus, their laser focus is fiber to the premise. They got the BlackRock deal, the joint venture. They're building their own fiber. And, DSL, they're trying to move on from that. Fixed wireless is a surgical tool. It's just not going to be what Verizon does. Verizon's probably going to reach 4 to 5 million subscribers on their 5G home within the next couple of years. They're up already over 2.3 million customers. T-Mobile's already over like 3.5 million, very quickly, because they are basically going to be offering it national to anybody who wants it. And they'll take cable customers, and they're taking fiber customers and DSL customers because of the pricing. And I just think that the realistic expectation should be, if you're a DSL customer on the AT&T footprint, you might get this offered to you once they start to decommission and stuff like that. And by the way, all reviews so far, if you stayed till this point in the video, they seem pretty positive. People seem to like the Internet Air because it's replacing really slow, unreliable DSL. Remember, tower sites have backup batteries. They have backup power, right? So it really can be more reliable, and you're getting more throughput. You're probably getting triple, 4 times, 5x, 10x the speed on downlink, and probably the same for uplink too. All right, if you guys have a take on this, I'd love to hear what you have to say. For all the real ones that watch us all the way through, hashtag ATT, and drop your comments down below. You're all the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.